Hey guys, what's going on, Scats? This morning I have something a little different for you. We're actually taking a peek at some talent trees for Protection Warrior in Dragonflight Alpha. Now, it's no surprise to anybody who's been talking to me recently, or who has kind of followed me for a good while, but I've always been a fan of Warrior, and it's just whenever it's not very strong, it just gets left by the wayside and feels, well, useless. Now, Dragonflight has definitely taken a few steps to make that feel completely different. And I can honestly say that looking at what we have to work with so far for Dragonflight Alpha, Warrior is shaping up to be an incredible, and I do mean incredible, just generally incredible class to play. Specifically today, we are looking at Protection Warrior. There'll be another video shortly about Arms and Fury, things that I'm not as familiar with. But Protection was kind of my bread and butter for a while, so I wanted to go ahead and get something out about them, pretty recently after the updates. Now, I have taken some time to go ahead and play with this a bit. I have spent just enough time to get the Warrior to level 69. I cleared through the current zone on Alpha. As you can see here, I could level to 70, but honestly, there's no point. This character's just going to end up getting wiped on Tuesday anyway. But I will say that the zone that we did, which, for those of you that are interested here, where is the Dragon Isles? Right, we actually can't get to that map through our normal map. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, so Protection's been really fun. Now, of course, you do still have Battle Shout here. That, of course, is always important. It's your attack power by 5%. But you'll notice that you'll see some repeats of abilities on my bars here. Like, for instance, you're going to see Challenging Shout on 2 spots. There are actually 2 different ones here. We have Challenging Shout and Improved Challenging Shout. Just assume that whenever you see something like this on a bar, that it's probably a bug and you're only supposed to have the improved version, because that is some serious button bloat, for sure. And wow, my music got entirely too loud. Let's cut that back a bit. There we are. Alright, so without further ado, let's take a look at the first talent tree. So this here is, I want to point out, first of all, that the protection side of the tree looks like a shield, and that really makes me happy as someone who, just likes good UI design. And yes, this is good UI design. So if anybody from Blizzard is watching, please pass that along to whomever is working on the warrior trees. They absolutely nailed the assignment when it came to making this feel like a protection tree. That is a damn shield. That is awesome. So let's take a look here specifically at the protection tree. The normal talent tree over here, the class tree for warrior, is actually really varied. But I want to look at the prot tree first. So you start off with Ignore Pain, the kind of bread and butter protection warrior. This just prevents you from, getting blown up instantaneously. It isn't technically healing, but it counts as healing on meters, so there you go. Then our second point goes into Revenge. No matter what, you're going to Revenge. Revenge is your, standard AoE cone. This lets you keep AoE threat. It's incredibly powerful, and it was actually in a very bugged state earlier this week, where with this, and I believe 1 or 2 other talents, if you just held the Revenge button down, or sometimes even if you just press the Revenge button, Revenge would just continually go off until the enemy died. It was really hilarious. I was unable to get any footage of it. When I finally went to go and get some footage of it, it looks like they had fixed it. So you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm sure that somebody has footage out there of it. It was a really entertaining bug, though. So from there, we also have Demoralizing Shout, which is in the top of the tree. Standard reduction in damage to you. Devastate, which is our basic spam ability for threat. And then Last Stand, which is our first major CD. Now from there, the next 2 rows, or the next row really is just kind of, you've got Booming Voice, which is a current talent. Nothing wrong with it, not the one I'm going for with the current build that I'm playing here. This is best served cold. Your Revenge deals more damage, or 50% more damage when you successfully dodge or parry, and it costs no rage. This is just a wonderful proc. It's crazy good. Strategist, your Devastate, Thunderclap, Revenge, and execute have a 30% chance to reset the remaining CD of Shield Slam. This is an absolutely required talent. You are never going to see a prot warrior not taking this. Literally impossible not to take this. You have to. Incredibly powerful. Brace for Impact. This one absolutely can trade with Unerving Focus if you want it to. Using Shield Slam increases your block value by 10% and the damage of your Shield Slam by 10% for 9 seconds. Multiple applications of this effect may overlap. Of course, with Strategist, this allows you to get some pretty spicy Shield Slams, and it's just really good for your block value, too. Unerving Focus. This just lets you have an extra rage increase during your last stand, and if you're able to reduce the cooldown on last stand, well, that just gets real scary. Challenging Shout. This is your AoE taunt. Whenever you improve it in the next talent row, it makes it that it also becomes an AoE interrupt, as well as the AoE taunt, and it also is a 6-second spell lock on anything you actually do get to interrupt with it. Exceedingly powerful. I don't think many tanks are going to be able to not take this, with the exception, of course, of single-target raid fights. Devastator, this comes back to give us just the standard auto attack, which also gives us another chance to reset Shield Slam. Again, this plus Strategist, exceedingly powerful, and will actually let you do a ton of damage. I don't see many people not taking Devastator. In here in the center, we just have a basic parry node. Not that big of a deal. You'll probably end up skipping this unless you are really, really parry hungry. But realistically, I think with our block and everything else, we should be fine without it. Over here, you have your first choice node. You can either get Blood Surge, which is your periodic bleed effects have a chance to grant you rage, or bleed damage of Deep Wounds, Rend, and Thunderous Roar increased by 15%. Thunderous Roar is a new talent that is over here in the standard tree, and this here actually just replaces Dragon's Roar. They probably changed it from Dragon's Roar for Dragonflight because it's not very thematic for a non-dragon to have it. Thunderous Roar makes more sense with the Thunderclap in your kit. The next row, then of course the very last one here, is Fueled by Violence. You're healed for 30% of the damage dealt by your Deep Wounds. This here is actually exceedingly strong. 30% of your damage dealt with Deep Wounds in AoE is a ton of healing. This is super powerful, and I really like this. Now, we already went over what improved Challenging Shout does. Here you got Show of Force. Revenge damage is increased by 10%, and whenever you use Revenge, it increases the damage of your next Thunderclap by 25%. Now, there's a lot of things in the talent trees that increase damage of Revenge, Shield Slam, and Thunderclap. Show of Force is just even more of that. I didn't take it here because I just don't have the talent point for it, but my next talent point in the tree actually would be Show of Force. Thunderlord here, this increases the damage. This increases the radius of your demoralizing shout by 5 yards, and each enemy hit by your Thunderclap reduces the remaining cooldown on demoralizing shout by 1.5 seconds up to 4.5 seconds. So as long as you're thunderclapping on 3 targets, your demo shout is getting reduced. This pairs incredibly well with Booming Voice. I just went with Thunderlord just to have the increased range there. I guess realistically, I might actually just swap over to Show of Force instead of Thunderlord, and swap Best Served Cold over to Booming Voice if I'm going to play that build, but you can kind of take both. Next, of course, we've got Shield Wall. This is your big CD. You can have 2 charges, which in this build I did pick that up. Super powerful, of course, to have a 40% DR. Spike Shield, this one's really interesting. This gives you a Thorn's Aura, basically. Anytime that you block, you deal damage. Feels really good, definitely helps with AoE threat, which is one of the issues I know Prot Warrior has had, basically, since Shadowlands launched. This is actually really good. It is a flat number. I don't know if that scales or not. I haven't bothered to, I guess I can just swap a piece of gear off here. We'll just take off some gear and, see if it's still at that 1277 mark. And yeah, it definitely does scale. Of course, I also have strength scaling based on armor value as well. So, it definitely scales, which is great. So this scales, this is going to... Why is that number different? Anyway, then we've got Bolster. Last Stand's cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds, and it grants you shield block for its duration. Doesn't seem exceedingly powerful over, at initial look there, but it is super strong. Just having shield block for the entire 15-second duration of Last Stand is actually insane. That's a ton of defensiveness there. Here we have our next choice node. I picked Improved Heroic Throw to make sure Heroic Throw always inflicts deep wounds. This makes Heroic Throw really powerful, especially on the pool. just to get your dots rolling, and of course to pop Fueled by Violence right away. Alternatively, you can go Brutal Vitality. Percentage of damage you deal adds to your active Ignore Pain. Obviously, S1% is, that's literally just a placeholder value. The next row here, we have our choice between Heavy Repercussions, which is Shield Slam, generating more rage and extending the duration of shield block, or Into the Fray, which is up to 10% haste based on the amount of enemies you have around you. Since this is an AoE build, Into the Fray just made more sense. Then here we have a choice node, which I did not pick up. This is Enduring Defenses, shield block lasts 2 seconds longer, or Sudden Death, so you can get more executes. Anger Management, this is super powerful, and honestly feels pretty mandatory, and really that's okay, because you want to be able to speed things up. Haste being the best stat for Prot Warrior is probably a trend that will continue. Here we have our choice of either Unbreakable Will. Shield Wall grants 1 additional charge and grants 50% of its effect to all party members. An exceedingly powerful ability, especially whenever you're talking about in a raid situation, being able to Shield Wall to save your friend that's a tank while he's stacking a ton of CDs, eating that massive hit while you're over there, tanking the ad or whatever. Super strong. And then, of course, the wall. If you don't have a situation where you would need that, Shield Slam generates even more rage and reduces the remaining cooldown of Shield Wall every time you use it. The wall paired with, of course, Devastator and Strategist to get those resets gets you some very quick uptime on your shield wall, which is just awesome. Now here we have Punish. Shield Slam deals 20% increased damage. Again, just pushing more and more and more into that Shield Slam build. It reduces the damage enemies deal to you by 3% for 9 seconds after you hit them with Shield Slam, and multiple punishments can overlap. The other option there is Juggernaut, which is Execute increases damage dealt by Execute by 3% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 20 times, giving you essentially a chance to get up to 60% additional Execute damage on a long fight. This is really powerful, especially with Sudden Death, or any situation where you're just going to be able to, use Execute a ton. So definitely look out for that. There's definitely going to be a build utilizing that here. Now, the next row here is very simple. These are basically just increases to your stats. Enduring Alacrity, 2-point talent, you get armor and stamina, as well as haste. The center, which is probably the most powerful node, increases your block chance by a baseline of 12% and your block value of 15%. Block value and block chance are huge for Prot Warrior, incredibly strong. Then on the right-hand side, you have strength and armor by another 10%, and then crit by 4% once you have both points in. It is very possible that the correct play is simply to take 6 points in this row, but I don't see that as being required, because the other talents are so powerful underneath here. Now, the most important thing to look at here is Shield Charge. This is a new ability. We've not had this before. 45-second cooldown here. Same range as your standard charge, except it's very different. Charge to an enemy with your shield raised, dealing 16,379 physical damage, which is a massive physical hit to it, and then about a fourth of the damage in physical damage to all enemies within 10 yards of that enemy. It also stuns the primary target for 4 seconds, and on top of that generates you 50 rage. Charging into a group of enemies with shield charge is instant snap threat, which is something Prot Warrior has sorely needed for a long time. So this is not only very exciting, it's also quite powerful. Definitely needed. Thrilled to see this here. And then right below it here is Champ's Bulwark. This is essentially Reprisal, but only for shield charge. Reprisal being the current go-to legendary in Shadowlands for Protection Warrior, where whenever you shield charge, you get shield block. It says shield block until cancelled. That's not accurate. Obviously, it's a tooltip error. It's just a standard, shield block duration of like 6 seconds. You get a proc of Revenge, which is the free Revenge, and it also generates you 300 rage is not accurate. It generates you extra rage. I believe at this point it's like 30 rage, which, getting 80 rage when you charge in is insane, because that'll let you charge in, pop and ignore pain for 35 rage, and then still have some things left over to pop a bunch of abilities. Super interesting here is Outburst. Consuming Rage grants you a stack of Seeing Red, which transforms at, it's not one stack, into Outburst, causing your next Shield Slam or Thunderclap to be 200% more effective and grant Ignore Pain. This is very, very strong. This is, I believe, the current tier set bonus for protection. So you can look there for what the original values were, but I believe this is the current tier set in Shadowlands at this point. And it's, I know it's been well received and it's pretty good. Dead Center here, you have your next choice node. This is Indomitable. Max health increase, every rage you spend heals you. Super good. Then you've also got Never Surrender, where your block chances increase by up to 20% based on your missing health. I don't think Never Surrender is ever going to be the pick. I know Indomitable is exceedingly powerful. I could see maybe in extreme circumstances you might pick Never Surrender, but I think most of the time most players are just going to take Indomitable because it's so easy and consistent. Here we have Spell Block, where you are able to block spells for 14 seconds. This is Shield Block, but for spells. This is great. This is going to help immensely for Protection Warrior in Mythic Plus. Thrilled to see this. This is absolutely great. Down here at the bottom, this is Battle-Scarred Veteran. This is definitely overpowered. This is going to get nerfed. If it doesn't, you're going to see Prot Warrior everywhere. When your health is brought below 35%, you take 100% less damage, which I believe lasts for about 6 seconds. Might even be 3. And healing you receive is increased by 100%. Cannot occur more than once every 60 seconds. I would assume it's probably going to be that, you know, you take 100% less damage for 6 seconds, healing you receive is increased by 100%, and it's like a 3-second window, and this can only happen. It'll probably be more than every 60 seconds, or it'll probably be like every 2 minutes, but this is insane. This is cheat death for Prot Warrior, which is great, because Prot Warrior can occasionally get hit really hard. So we'll have to see how they tune this, but this is super powerful. I don't think anyone is not going to take this. This is just great. And then for the redheaded stepchild, Ravager. Ravager just doesn't seem that great. It just generates you some rage. It is good AoE damage, though, that's for sure. And then Storm of Steel, which is a total lackluster point, just increases the duration by 2 seconds. I don't know what they're thinking with this Storm of Steel. I think this is probably going to change out to something else, like maybe Ravager will stay, but they'll change what this is. Because just an extra 2 seconds on this just doesn't seem very good compared to the rest of the tree. Which, by the way, this tree is, again, completely insane. Cannot get over that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my. Ooh, allergies are driving me nuts. So looking over here at the actual warrior talent tree here, the class tree, you do have all 3 stances making a return. They are not how they used to be, though. They are simply stances that you stay in. You really don't swap them. You do get your defensive stance by default, and then you just kind of go down the tree, you know, pretty much the same for everybody from what I've seen. There's not much variation, and that's not really a problem because it all comes down to what you're picking at the end as to how the class feels, and that's a really good idea. But you end up with Rallying Cry. You have your choice of Intervene or Second Wind, depending on what you're doing here. Probably all the DPS are just going to take Second Wind. You have Berserker Rage, followed by Berserker Shout. This, I believe, is supposed to hit your group, which is really awesome. That's some great utility. There is an option to take Berserker Stance into Siphoning Strikes, just to get you 5% Leech, which is definitely something to consider for Protection Warrior. There's also a move speed over here, but I don't think we'll be taking that at any point. You have Spell Reflection here. You know, super powerful. Inspiring Presence just buffs your Rallying Cry, but it also opens up this row here, which has a neat choice. You can either go for Stormbolt, which is a single target stun, or you can get the new Titanic Throw. This generates high threat and deals a significant amount of physical damage, you know, to whatever enemy you hit with it. This may be the go-to for Prot. I just picked Stormbolt because I'm used to Stormbolt, and I like this stuff. Double Time gets your extra charge on charge. Owned Reflexes, this reduces the cooldown of Shield Slam, Overpowered, Bloodthirst, and Pummel by 1.5 seconds. Definitely important if you plan on playing, you know, a Shield Slam-centric build. Gotta have that. Oh, I completely forgot to get Crushing Force when I built this tree. That is a problem. I need to get that. That's 25% Shield Slam damage. Anyway, you have your choice over here of getting Rend, or Pain and Gain. Pain and Gain being basically the endurance conduit added during Sanctum of Domination. Uh, Pretty sure most people are not going to take that. They're going to grab a Rend, in AoE situations at least, to go with Thunderclap and Blood and Thunder, which is just that your Thunderclap will spread Rend. This is super strong. Very, very powerful. Or you can, of course, go with Crackling Thunder, which just increases the radius of Thunderclap, which could also be useful depending on how you want to go. But the thing is, you want to go down the tree to get Armor to the Teeth, which is getting strength equal to 10% of your armor value. Armor values scale real fast, and that is very, very powerful. Die by the Sword. This is available to everybody, and that's crazy. Prot having access to this is great. 100% parry chance, and a DR at the same time. Very, very strong, and definitely something you're going to see every Prot warrior taking. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. Getting an extra strength value for armor just gives us more parry. I mean, it's a win-win. Now, this node here is absolutely busted. One-handed weapon spec, get 10% leech. So you can essentially have 15% leech baseline by picking up one-handed weapon specialization and also picking up siphoning strikes. And because I do want to get to Crushing Force, I am going to pop a point out of here and just kind of work my way down the tree. Because we definitely need to get there. We don't need both of these points here, but I'll go over what they are. So you have Heroic Leap here, which is super strong. Definitely amazing mobility, and you have to take it to get down this side of the tree anyway. Furious Blows, this increases Bloodthirst Slam, Shield Slam, and Whirlwind by 10%. That's another 10% on Shield Slam. Again, super strong. The one we really don't need, though, is Bounding Strides. We're going to go ahead and kill that. Pick up War Machine there. And then we've got Seismic Reverberation. Seismic Reverberation, whenever Revenge hits enemies, if it hits 3 or more, it hits 1 additional time for half damage. Can't go wrong with that. Then we got Overwhelming Rage. Your max rage is increased. This is probably where we can snag a point and move it over, which will also get rid of Frothing Berserker. But Rage really shouldn't be an issue for Prot, which is something I never thought I'd say. So we are going to cut that point there and pick up Crushing Force, because that's 25% shield slam damage in 1 point, which is absolutely nutty. That is absolutely crazy, and something you're definitely going to want to take. We'll just apply that change there, and that changed things. So just going over real quick, I'm just going to pull up the nodes here that have that improved shield slam damage, because you really need to pay attention to how much damage you're getting out of that. So over here we have the reduced, the reduced cooldown. That's not damage. We're not worried about that. We don't get anything here. Here we get 10%, so that's 10%. Here we have 25, so that is 35%. Let's see. Then we have got armor and strength. That's going to give us some percentage there as well. Between those two talents. Nothing we're going to actually see as a value that we can put into it, because that's going to scale, of course. None of these do anything there. So here we have our strategist. That's just the reset. Excuse me. Ooh. Okay. Let's see here. That's 10% more. That's 45%. Let me see. That is not it either. That's not it either. Punish. That's 20%. So that's 65%. Shield Slam does scale with your block value, last I checked, so that's going to be some increase there. Then, of course, while Shield Block is up, we generate more Rage if we take Heavy Repercussions. So, you're looking at a fairly sizable increase, 65, maybe 70% additional damage on your Shield Slam just from your talents. That's going to hit really hard, guys. Really, really hard. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Single target should be no problem for Prot Warrior. So, that being said, how does it play? Well, Prot Warrior plays exceedingly well. The shield block uptime is stellar. It's really, really good. You constantly seem to have enough rage right now to keep up your shield block while doing your damage. Occasionally, survivability could be an issue if you're taking exceedingly heavy amounts of damage and you need to spam Ignore Pain. However, that's not very likely to happen if you're constantly able to pop all these other defensives to keep yourself alive. So I would definitely expect Warrior to get some slight nerfs, and by nerfs I mean tuning, because nothing is tuned yet. But I think Prot Warrior is looking to be an incredibly powerful tank moving into Dragonflight, and I hope that you get to try it out in the current state that it's in. If not, I will have some gameplay footage up here next week when we get a new dungeon. That is absolutely my priority this coming week here, when we have a new dungeon to test, because this week it's kind of impossible to find anybody to run dungeons with because there wasn't a new one. So, I will catch you guys in the next video. Please leave a like if you liked this video. If you didn't, definitely, tell me you didn't like it, but tell me why in the comments. It'll help me make the videos better. Be sure to follow me over there on Twitter. I do post a bunch of random crap all the time, and occasionally I do have some fun with people on there. So, you guys have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.